Okay, so here we are solving equations, and it's multi-step this time because now, as you can see, we have two terms with variables. So before we want to isolate the variable, first we want to combine our like terms. Okay, so you see here we have a 2x. There's no symbol in front of it, so we know it is a positive. And then we have this 5x, and it's actually a negative 5x. See how I grouped in that negative sign there with it? And then we also have this negative 4. Okay, so I circled my like terms with different colors. Okay, so my x terms are circled in black. My constant terms is circled in red. And in fact, this is also a constant term. But we're not going to combine it just yet because of the equal sign. So first, I would combine my x terms, right? And I would look at it, oh, a positive and a negative. And then you're going to think different signs. And different signs we subtract. And we take the big absolute value, which is 5, and we're going to subtract the smaller absolute value, which is 2. And 5 minus 2 is 3. Okay, and then we know it's going to be 3, but then it's different signs subtract, keep the sign of the larger. Who had the bigger absolute value? The 5 did, because we already did that. Big abs minus small abs. And 5 was negative, so it is it's a negative 3x, because it's the x terms we combine. Okay, so when they're on the same side of the equal sign, you combine them using the symbols there. Plus 2x and then minus 5x. Or you can think of it as a plus 2x plus a negative 5x, which is why we have different signs. Okay, and then let's rewrite it. The rest of it, we didn't do anything with the negative 4 or minus 4. So it's negative 3x minus 4 is going to equal to 10. Okay, so for this one, now this is like our two-step equations like we did in the homework last night. And you think of the journey of x. What was the last thing to happen in this journey of x? And it's this minus 4. So to undo that minus 4 and work backwards back to x, and to isolate the x, we are going to do the inverse operation of subtraction, which is addition. And we add 4 on both sides. Plus 4 minus 4, that's going to go to 0. And that's how we, oops, don't paste. Okay, so that's how we are going to get the negative 3x by itself. And that's going to equal to 14. Okay, so in this practice today, you're going to have a lot of answers that are not nice whole numbers. They are going to be mixed numbers. And you have to simplify your fractions. Don't leave it as an improper fraction. So this is an example of that. We have a negative 3x equals 14. I don't know what number times 3 is going to give me 14, but I do know that this is multiplication. And to get x by itself, I'm going to do my inverse operation of multiplication, which is division. So I'm going to divide by a negative 3 and divide both sides by a negative 3. So 14 divided by negative 3 is basically saying, whoops, how many 3's are in 14? Okay, so when we do that, it's like, well, I know 3 times 4 is 12. So let's go, there's 4 3's there. Okay, so 4 times 3 is 12. 4 groups of 3's anyway. So that's why 3 times 4 is 12. And we have 2 left. So 14 over negative 3 is really equal to a negative, because positive divided by negative. So it's going to be negative. Hold on, let me move this guy. Let's move him over a little bit. Okay, and it's going to be a negative 4 because there's 4 groups of 3's. And that's why that accounts for 12 of the 14's. And there's 2 remaining, and that's why we have a 2/3. Okay, so a 14 over negative 3 is really a negative 4 and 2/3. Okay, so that's how we get to it. So x is equal to negative 4 and 2/3. Okay, let's go look at this other example here. We have 3x plus 3 is equal to x plus 15. Okay, now what we're going to do is notice that my like terms, the x terms, are on opposite sides of the equal sign. Okay, but we can still combine them. We just have to use our inverse operations. Just like we combined the negative 4 and 10, we didn't go 10 plus negative 4. No, we did our inverse operations of plus 4 and plus 4. That's how we combine our like terms when they are on different sides of an equal sign. So instead of going 3x plus x, because they're both positive, they're on different sides of the equal sign. And we're going to have to do the inverse operation, which is minus x, because it is a positive. So the opposite of that would be minus x. And then we do the same thing to both sides. That's how we get to 2x. We didn't do anything with the 3. We just bring it down. We didn't do anything to the 15. Bring it down. Okay, now it's like a two-step equation. Okay, think of the journey. There's probably times by 2 and then added 3. So the last thing to happen was add 3. So we are going to do the inverse of add 3, which is minus 3. And we minus 3 on both sides. 2x is going to equal to positive 12. 8 different signs subtract. Keep the sign of the larger. The larger is 15. That's why it is positive. Okay, and inverse operation, it's times by 2. So to undo that, we multiply by 2. I'm sorry, it is multiply by 2. So to undo that, we divide by 2. Okay, and that's how we get x is equal to 6. All right, so that's one more step in our solving equations, and that's why it's called multi-step solving equations. First, combine your like terms. Then you're going to isolate your x by doing your inverse operations. All right.